everybody, welcome to another video, and I just wanted to show you a little glimpse of some of the things I really like and some of the things I am not a big fan of with the new 2017 Ford Explorer Sport. So I just picked this up last week and I'm really enjoying it. I think it's a great vehicle, and I miss having my Mini and my Jeep, but those were just different vehicles for a different time period, and I'm really glad to have something that's a little more grown up, a little more luxurious, got more features, and just more up to date and so forth. So I'm not really going to do an overall total like in-depth car review kind of thing. There's a lot of really great car reviewer YouTube channels out there like Doug DeMuro, and Doug DeMuro is more of a looking at cars in a sort of whimsical way. He's got good stuff, so I would say check him out. But also another guy named Mike who does auto vlog. He's got some cool stuff too. He did a really nice sort of in-depth review of the Explorer Sport. So definitely check out his review. I'll put a link in the description if you want more of a general overview of all the different things the vehicle has. But what I want to do is I just want to talk about things that I really like and things that I'm not a huge fan of. So in no particular order whatsoever, here we go. So let's say you're holding something really heavy and you just, I mean, you don't want to put it down because then you have to pick it up again. You really don't want to have to try to balance it to find the keys and all that stuff. What if I could just do this? That is probably my favorite feature that this car has. I can just take care of it and I'm done. While on the subject of cargo space, there's really quite a bit here. Now, as you can see, well, hopefully you can see this in the video, but there is a third row of seats right here. And I've got them up right now, and I usually drive with them down because I'm a single guy that lives by myself, so I don't often have the need to transport up to 7 people, which the Explorer can do quite easily. But I like to drive with the seats up because I have a fairly decent amount of cargo room in the back to haul just kind of an average day-to-day amount of things. You know, I have a backpack, my lunch for work, and so forth. But if I want to put the seats down, I really do get a tremendous amount of space. Check this out. With the seats down, you can see there's really quite a lot of room in there, and that's just behind the second row seat. If I put the second row seat down, it's quite cavernous in there. You can really haul quite a bit of stuff with all the seats down. So one thing I really do like about this is the cargo capacity and the ability to haul a lot of stuff inside the car. And if you need to tow anything, right behind this little thing right there is a tow hitch. I'm not going to pull it off, you just take my word for it. Or if you want to buy one of these things, go to the dealer and the sales guy will pull the thing off the bumper and show you. But on sport models and anything that has the tow package, your trailer hitch is right under there, and you have both different types of trailer hookups. Sometimes in these SUVs with the multi-row seats and the middle bench seat that folds down and everything, you run into a problem when you either want to access the back seat or fold the seat down. You go to fold the seat back down, and it kind of does one of those. It gets stuck on the seat in front of you, then the person in front of you has to push their seat forward and all that. You don't have to do that in this car because Ford thought of that already. All you do is press this little button on the side of the headrest. It flips the headrest down to a 90-degree angle, and now you can fold it down more easily, and the front passenger seat occupant can keep their comfort. Another thing I really like is just the way this thing looks. I guess the target market for this is people who are looking for a minivan but don't want something that looks like a minivan and sort of screams soccer mom. While yes, I'm sure a parent driving their kids to soccer would do very well with one of these, there are other things that make it stand out as something that's not just a soccer mom vehicle. For example, the sport trim level, and that's the one I decided to go with. The wheels, the headlights and taillights kind of have a smoky look to them. The badging is kind of darker. It just looks a little more aggressive. It looks a little more grown up. I really like it. It looks cool. So one thing that Ford's been doing for a while on their pickup trucks and SUVs and whatnot is they've had this keypad on the side where you can type in a code to unlock the door or lock the door and so forth, which is really handy. What I've noticed from using it is it doesn't respond consistently to the lock command, for example. So like if I want to lock the doors, I can press the 7, 8, and 9 and 0 keys, hold them together, and I'll lock the door. Of course, it worked now while I'm doing the video for you, but in just sort of day-to-day practice, I've noticed that I've had to sometimes press and hold it a couple of times before it actually did the locking. So not a big deal, just something I noticed. But because this particular vehicle happens to also have the smart key and the keyless entry and everything, instead of using that, I can just push this little part right here to lock the door, and I can put my hand here to unlock the door. So not a big deal, just something I observed. But I love that feature, the fact that I can just kind of walk up to my locked vehicle and just go, all right, time to get in. And it just unlocks the door. Okay, so I'm sure this has happened to you before. You're getting ready to leave. You open up the door, you get in the car, start the engine, getting ready to go. Then, oh, dang it, I forgot something. I've got to run back inside. This is something I don't like. Listen to what happens. I just got out of the car, and because I have the key in my pocket, it honks the horn at me twice to say, hey, silly, you have the key in your pocket. I'm running without the key, just so you know. I get why it does that, and I get how that can be helpful. I haven't figured out a way to turn that off yet. If anyone knows, please put a comment. I would love to know how to turn that off, because I know that I have the key in my pocket. So I don't need the car to remind me. And if I'm doing that in the morning or I'm coming home late at night and I don't need to be honking the horn unnecessarily. So maybe there's a way to turn that off. I don't know. But if anyone knows, let me know. I'd love to know, you know? So one thing I really do like is the infotainment system, or what Ford refers to as the Sync 3 system. It's hot out. It's actually 94 degrees outside right now based on what the car is telling me, but I really like this Ford Sync 3 system. It's very easy to navigate, very easy to operate, and I love the fact that most of anything you would need to use while you're driving can be done through voice commands. Tuning radio stations, changing the climate control, anything like that, navigation input, all that stuff can be done with your voice. Spend about 15-20 minutes learning the different voice commands, and you'll never have to touch this, and you can just keep your eyes right on the road, which is really awesome and really safe. A lot of it can be manipulated with this screen. Oops, don't want the copyright police to come after me, but stop it. Okay, so you can still press the different buttons on here to manipulate this and access all that stuff, but you don't have to, which is really nice. Now, for those who prefer buttons, you still have buttons to control everything. Your seeking and tuning, your climate control, heated and cooled seats, all that stuff can be controlled here, but also can be controlled via the screen. So, there's something for everyone there, which I really like. This does have Apple CarPlay, which I think works fairly well. The one thing I'm not super keen on when I'm using CarPlay, for example, I don't have the same information shown over here on my center cluster for like navigation as I would if I was using the built-in sync navigation. So everything up here, other than what's playing on the radio, it says please see touchscreen. So when CarPlay is active, CarPlay pretty much is all done here, and nothing happens in the middle. Not a huge deal. Again, just something I observed. I have a feeling that with a software update that will fix itself, or that will improve, so that way whether you're using CarPlay or you're using the built-in sync navigation, you'll get your sort of turn-by-turn visual instructions here in the center as well as over here. Apart from that though, the infotainment system, the CarPlay, everything really works fantastically. Another thing I really love is the cameras. There's a front camera, which I can press that to get a view of what's happening directly in front of me. I can even get sort of a multi-angle view of the center and then extreme sides. I can tell if I'm close enough to a parking space, or if I'm parallel parking. I imagine that would be really helpful. I've not parallel parked this vehicle yet, so I don't know how well that works, but I have a feeling it's going to be very helpful. I also do have there's a reverse camera as well, so when I go into reverse, for example, I can see directly behind me. I can even do the same type of view where I can see the sort of periphery, you know, on the left and right side. So I really love that, and I love the whole arsenal of sensors that are on the car also. So when I get close to things, I'll get little green, yellow, and red markers showing up around this sort of little vehicle picture up here. So it shows me if I'm too close to something, and I can obviously, you know, react accordingly. And also I like that it kind of turns the little lines there to guide with backing up. So just really nice and really helpful. Another thing, and hopefully you can see this in the video, there's a strip of lights right up here. And when I first got in the car, I had no idea what those were for. And as it turns out, that is an obstacle avoidance or sort of collision warning system. So if I'm approaching a slower moving object or a fixed object at more than, say, 5 miles an hour, that will start blinking and sort of draw my attention to that area right in front of me, so I can react accordingly and stop or swerve or, you know, do whatever I need to do to avoid hitting that object. So I really like that. So there you have it. I mean, that's a lot of what I really like, and there's really not that much that I don't like about this vehicle. It really is a nice package, all in all. So I really like it, and I look forward to many happy miles. I'm looking forward to doing some road trips, and looking forward to just enjoying all that it is. So one thing I think could be better is the fuel economy, but the good thing about it, though, is it kind of forces me to drive a little bit more responsibly. So I'm not as aggressive on the throttle and everything. I'm still in the break-in period anyway, so I'm not being too aggressive with it anyway. But even after the break-in period, apart from just, you know, kind of being heavy on the gas just because I can, just to see what it does, I think I'm just going to drive it more responsibly. So I'm not as, you know, not spending too much on gas and having to pay for it at the pump. I've only filled it up once, so I've only gotten about 250 miles on a tank. I'm hoping that I can do better, maybe hit 300 miles on a tank. I kind of feel like that's a good number to hit, but all in all, I'm very happy. I really like it, and I highly recommend it.